Hi, I'm Giri Prakash from the Federal, and in this episode of Big Money, we are going to talk about how crisis actually helps people wade through some of the toughest times. We have taken two, three case studies, and we'll discuss how they were able to navigate through this crisis. Usually, Big Money is about personal finance, and we discuss details about where to invest and how to go about leading a better, fulfilling life, and also about how to save for the future, how to save for any personal emergencies. And this episode is about that exactly. So we have taken three case studies. One is, of course, the unexpected layoffs that keeps happening all the time, especially if you're in the technology field. And then we talk about the personal crisis. There could be a sudden emergency issue. Maybe somebody has fallen ill, and there's a huge bill that keeps mounting, medical bill that keeps mounting. And how do you actually wait through that crisis? And then it could be navigating the debt. For example, somebody has taken a huge debt. Suddenly, either the business fails or that person passes away, and someone else, the surviving member, has to go ahead and pay off that debt. So it's about that as well. And so here are some of the things that we are going to discuss. And let me start with the unexpected layoff and a new beginning, as we call it as. Now, I'm going to take an example of Priya, and she's an IT consultant from Bangalore, and she faced an unexpected layoff after her project ended abruptly, and probably because of the fact that there were quite a few deals that didn't really go through, and she was one of the victims of that, and how she actually went through this crisis. Priya was in her late 20s, and she was laid off, and she had some amount of some money. She did get some money from the company that she was working for, and she had a bit of savings plus a bit of PF, and because she had not completed 5 years, she was not eligible for any gratuity. And thankfully, she was actually earning quite a lot of money. I mean, compared to the kind of standards that we have. So there was a pool of money that she had, but then she had lost her job, and it was becoming difficult for her to get another job because she, several other techies were in a similar situation, and she didn't actually know what to do. So what did she do about it? She tried, sending her CVs across the country and Bombay, Delhi, and she was willing to relocate wherever her job took her. But she was in a domain where it was becoming difficult for any company or any HR in a company to actually fit her properly. So she had her family, I mean, her parents, younger brother who were her brother was actually studying engineering, and I mean, the fees had to be paid and all that, and they had a rent to pay, and she had recently bought a car, and for there was an EMI as well. So it was a situation where almost everything was going wrong for Priya. So what did she do? So after having tried various ways to actually get her job back, she decided that she's going to do something which she had been taught by her mother over a long period of time in terms of whatever skills her mother had taught regarding it. Could be, it was the one skill that her mother had taught and she was pretty good at was cooking. And she decided that she's going to start something there. As we all know, Bangalore, like say even Bombay, there are quite a few. I mean, it's a place for foodies, and a whole lot of people actually try out newer kind of cuisines. and they look out for a new joint, as they say, a new food joint. So she decided that she's going to do something there, and she had, as I told you earlier, had some kind of money, and she used her severance package to kickstart a cloud kitchen, and which specialized in regional Karnataka cuisine. And this is something that is there across the country. Each region has its own cuisine, and because she had those skill sets, she started experimenting and opened this cloud kitchen. And today, she actually caters to hundreds of orders, either through platforms like Swiggy or through Zomato. And she has actually given jobs to 5 people. Someone who was looking for a job was actually able to give jobs to 5 employees, and and then she talks about how every ending is a new beginning, and this is a success story where success was pulled out from the depths of misery, depression, and a situation where there was nowhere to go. So this is the world of Priya and how she was successful. Now we will go through the another kind of personal crisis that happened with Delhi-based Arjun, who faced a personal crisis, which was very unfortunate because his mother fell severely ill, and when it comes to medical bills, they keep mounting all the time, and we all know that. The hospital actually asks you to pay first, and then only then the patient gets treated. And he felt very cornered. He didn't know what to do, and he realized that he also did not have the kind of health insurance that is actually very necessary for everyone around. We sort of underestimate the requirements when it comes to hospitalization, whatever medical bills. So please do understand that when you take a health insurance, you actually take it for a larger sum of money, because if you're able to take this medical insurance very early in your career, like for example, in your 20s and early 30s, the premium that you need to pay is going to be very less. And therefore, and do not stop paying the premium, because once you stop paying the premium, what happens is that if you have to renew it, they'll calculate from the kind of the age that you're in. It could be, let's assume you started taking a medical insurance premium at 25, and you suddenly stop at 35. The count will begin at 35 instead of 25 years. So and then you might have like say issues like say a BP, a diabetes, some of those lifestyle diseases, and you may not be physically fully fit. And all this, when you go through a medical test before taking a medical insurance, all this might show up. You might have become a smoker, you might have become an occasional drinker. All this adds up to the premium, right? So it's very important to take a medical insurance very early in your life. Now, what did Arjun do about it? He was facing one of his biggest crises. He had to pay the medical bill, and he realized that he just didn't have enough money. He had actually a car, a personal car, which he had to sell it off to fix the medical bill, to pay out the medical bill. But that again was not good enough, because of the fact that his mother it was becoming very difficult for her to recover from this kind of health issue. So what he did was that while undergoing these kind of crises, you suddenly find that there's always a ray of hope. There's something that turns up, that you see a window of opportunity there. And Arjun was able to do that. And he realized that he identified a gap in the healthcare sector, the need for sanitized patient care products. And he realized that this is something that every hospital wants. And therefore, he decided that he will use some amount of money that he already had saved, and of course some generous contribution from a few of his friends, and he decided to start a venture renting out sterilized patient care equipment. All right. Now, it took off slowly because he was not the only one who had come up with this Eureka movement. There were hundreds of them who had similar kind of business, and there were people who were actually far more organized and bigger players in the industry. But because of the fact that he was his business was new, investments weren't so high, he was able to actually offer this kind of service to the hospitals at a much lower kind of fee, at lower cost. And smaller hospitals always look out for these kind of opportunities. And he was able to actually fulfill their need immediately. Initial takeoff was low, but slowly and slowly, he found an alternate employment opportunity from what he was doing earlier. And then he realized that his business was becoming big, and he had the his he had very less time for his first job, his main job that he was doing. So he shifted, he left that job and completely shifted to this business, and he's now quite successful, touch wood, and he's doing pretty well. So look at this. Both Priya and Arjun actually found opportunities, and at the same time, they made use of this opportunity instead of saying that, no, I'm sorry, throwing up your hand, saying that this is not possible for me. I'm from middle class, and we don't know how to do business. Nobody knows how to do business unless you get into it, right? So this is an opportunity that they had, and they took it. And whether they will be successful in the long term or not, what we need to know is that they were able to actually wade through that crisis with the kind of opportunity they had. They may or may not leave their respective businesses, but they immediately found an answer to their problems, and they were able to plug that. Now, we will go through the other one where there was this person who actually went through a bigger crisis than, say, Priya and Arjun did. And it's about Sheena from Kolkata, who actually found herself drowned in debt after a series of unfortunate investments. And it usually happens. You take the advice of some random person, and that person says that you can make money immediately, and then you invest a lot of money without realizing, because you have a lot of money sitting in your bank or your savings. You say, okay, fine, I don't really mind because I have a longer life, and therefore I will be able to manage that in case things go wrong. But in situations like this, things actually go wrong. They don't go right because you're not done your maths right. You're taking a risk with your closed eyes, and this is something that almost everyone who takes a decision to venture out should be very careful. So, for example, future and options, as far as the stock market is concerned, it is a very, very risky kind of financial instrument, and you should be very, very careful. You can see debt piling up, people going bankrupt. So be very, very careful about these kind of things. Unless you have enough money to spare, and that kind of money where you really don't mind losing because you have another source of income coming through all the time, right? So what did Sheena face? She found out that because of this piling of debt, creditors were knocking on her door all the time, and the crisis that she was in found a perfect opportunity for her. Now, what is Sheena good at? Almost everyone either comes with some kind of things that you're good at, but you don't explore that opportunity. And some of them do, and they look at it as kind of a hobby. So Sheena's hobby was art. She she had indulged in painting. She had indulged in a few other things of making something out of pottery and stuff like that. And she sort of turned it around and started online art therapy classes, which was very new, especially in a very conservative society like Kolkata. And she found a lot of takers for that. And initially, people were very dismissive about it. And after all, what is art therapy for you? And what does it actually do? Because it doesn't actually give you anything much. But then she found, she had actually found her calling, and she was very good at it, and she improved upon it, which eventually led to a situation where her art therapy classes actually gained popularity. And whether you like it or not, the pandemic actually was there. And post pandemic, there were a whole lot of people who had got into depression, and these kind of classes were already there. And there were a whole lot of people who were actually facing post-pandemic mental health challenges. And people started actually visiting, this online platform, enrolled for classes. And because of word of mouth, she now has a huge clientele. And therefore, she started to pay off her debts. And now it is a thriving platform that blends mental well-being with art. Okay, she found an opportunity during her crisis. Priya found an opportunity during her crisis. So did Arjun. We just have to look around for these things. And please remember, have faith in yourself. Don't give up. And there are always opportunities there. You can do a whole lot of things. And and then there are always people who will be able to help you out. You just have to stretch your hands. So I do hope this episode of Big Money helped you, and please don't lose hope. Thank you very much.
Subscribe to the Federal's YouTube page for more news and updates.